Some of you may be aware that on Tuesday it is Pancake Day, also known as Shrove Tuesday. For some of you who've not been in the country for as long as others, this might be news to you, and you may have no idea that it is Pancake Day on Tuesday, and you also may have no idea that pancakes are supposed to look like that. And they're supposed to be served with lemon and sugar. They're not supposed to be kind of small, little, round, thick things that the Americans have. That's what a pancake is supposed to look like. And the tradition of Pancake Day goes back to about the 16th century, and it's kind of all involved with the idea of having to use up certain rich foods from your kitchen before the beginning of Lent. Lent is a Christian tradition that goes back even further. It goes back to the 4th century, and it's traditionally a time of fasting in preparation for the season of Easter. You won't find anything about Lent in the Bible, which is why some church traditions do it, and some church traditions don't mention it at all. But Easter is an important festival. I hope you've cottoned on to that by now. Easter is an important festival within the Christian calendar. And so Lent is an opportunity to prepare for Easter. And traditionally, some Christians have prepared for Easter by fasting for 40 days in the run-up to Easter. It might be fasting from a certain type of food for the whole of Lent. It might be a time where for maybe 1 or 2 days in the week they have fasted and not eaten at all. But it's certainly in church history, it's been a time when people have eaten more basic foods than they would do in the rest of the year. So we are here, March the 2nd, and Easter this year is on April the 20th. And so to calculate when Lent is, you simply start at Easter and you start counting back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But just to add to the complication, Sundays are always a day of celebration in the church when we remember that Jesus rose from the dead. And so Sundays are never a day of fasting. And so you skip the Sundays, and you count all the way back. So if you skip all of the Sundays, that's why if you try to count back, including the Sundays, you'll always be left wondering, well, how is Lent 40 days? And it starts on Ash Wednesday, but that's why. So the Sundays, there are always 6 Sundays which aren't included, the 4th of which is Mothering Sunday. You may never have realised that before. So it's always the 4th Sunday in Lent. So that's why that moves around in the year as well, because Easter moves around. So that means that this coming Wednesday is the beginning of Lent. This coming Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, following Shrove Tuesday on Tuesday. Now, if you're anything like me, when it comes to your spiritual journey, you need all the help that you can get. There are things that you don't do that you wish you did do. There are things that you do that you wish you didn't. There are things that you started doing and you've kind of got out of the habit, or there are things that you stopped doing and you've got back into a bad habit. And so I find it really helpful to have at various points in the year to have these reminders and these opportunities just to pause and to reflect and to think, yeah, I need to get back on track with this or that, or I feel God would like me to do this or that, and to have an opportunity where we can do that. And I think Lent is one of those opportunities in the year where we can stop and we can pause and we can think, are there things for the next 46 days, because I'm including the Sundays, are there things that I can be doing that would draw me closer to Jesus? No, I'm not going to talk about neuro pathways. That's going to be for another day. And so I have just put together a few ideas. So some of you will know that on our church website, we've recently introduced a new page which you'll find under the resources menu. It's called Helpful Links. So if you go to Resources, Helpful Links, and then click on the picture that says Lent Resources 2025, it will take you to another page which has got a number of resources that you might find helpful to start as you start thinking about what you might like to engage with over the next 46 days, starting on Wednesday. So we've got Lectio 365, which is an app that I know quite a few of you use already. And so if you would like some help in developing the daily habit of prayer, then that's a resource you may find helpful. Back after a number of years of not doing it are the Stewardships 40 or doing Lent generously. So you can do this as families, and I think possibly the children might be getting something about this today over in Energize to bring home. But you can either do it as families or as individuals, and there'll be a daily challenge of something that you can do to be generous to your family, to your community. Some of them are straightforward, some of them are a little bit more involved, but things that we can think about doing, random acts of kindness to impact those around us. If you want to get into a daily habit of reading the Bible, then I've just put a link there to the YouVersion Bible, and that will take you to the Bible Project's 40-day readings for Lent, Luke and Acts. So it's not specifically a Lent series, but it is 40 days with some of the Bible Project resources, as well as daily readings that will take you through the whole of Luke and then the whole of Acts. And then we've got, I've used Tear Fund as an example, but many charities that you are involved in may well be producing Lent resources. And I know the Tear Fund ones are a weekly resource, so an email each Sunday in Lent, picking out some theme and informing you of stuff that's going on in the world and encouraging us to pray. But there might be other things that we want to explore, take a bit further, get back into the habit of doing, whether it's something like memorizing scripture, or maybe you've got that Christian book on your bedside table. I have quite a pile of Christian books on my bedside table, and you want to read it, you meant to read it, but you've never quite got round to it. Well, why not use Lent as an opportunity to say, right, every day there's this thing I do for 20 minutes that I could do without. I could survive without watching this program on the television each day. And so rather than do that, rather than watch Pointless or Countdown or all these other afternoon quiz shows, rather than do that, I'm going to take that 25 minutes and I'm going to turn the telly off. I'm going to pick up that Christian book that I've meant to read for the last 12 years, and I'm going to actually read it. And I'm going to do that consistently throughout this Lent season. So I just want to encourage each of us to be thinking about those things that we could be doing over the next 40-odd days that will be helping us become more like Jesus and draw closer to Jesus, and maybe as opposed to some of the other things that might be just kind of helping us to drift slowly away without us realizing it.